Join me for a quick movement session to really get your back feeling awesome again. A few movements, a little bit of mobility, a little bit of stability, and a lot of breath work through all of these movements, and I think you'll be feeling much better. Thanks for following along.
Start by laying down on the ground and elevating your feet so that your knees and your hips are at 90-degree angles. We're going to do 6 deep diaphragmatic breaths. Inhale deep into your abdomen, feeling your torso expand, and slowly exhale on a count of 6. Visualize your breath filling deep into your abdomen, into your pelvis, letting your pelvic floor release, as well as letting your ribs expand out as far as possible. And finally, expanding your back into the ground, feeling that resistance. And then slowly, without a sound, let the air come out through your mouth. Now gently roll onto your side and go onto your hands and knees to perform some cat camels. With your inhalation, round your back as high up to the sky as you can. And as you exhale, press your hands into the ground, letting your abdomen come down gently towards the ground. And repeat. We'll do 5 of these. Now to unwind your spine, we're going to slide your right hand behind your left hand, letting your shoulder and head rest on the ground. Now push into the ground and rotate towards the ceiling for a count of 5. Come back up onto your hands and knees and pass your left hand behind your right hand, putting your hand and shoulder to the ground and press into the ground to rotate again up towards the ceiling. Use a pillow to lay on your side so that your cervical spine stays in line with the rest of your spine. Bring your knees up nice and high so that they're higher than your hips. Place your hands in front of you and then rest your bottom hand on the ground. We're going to do rotations, opening up our thoracic spine. Exhale with the rotation. Inhale as you come back. And exhale as you bring your hand as far backwards as you can, letting your shoulder and head follow. Notice that my knees are not moving. That bottom hand that is resting on your knee is to remind you to keep the movement in your upper body and not let your low back compensate. Now come up and turn onto the other side. Again, use a pillow or a yoga block to keep your neck in line with the rest of your spine. Bring your knees up past your hips, Stack them on top of each other. Stack your hands so that you know your shoulders are on top of each other. Rest that bottom hand on your knee and begin the same sequence of, with the exhalation, opening up your spine, rotating your hand as far as you can in your shoulder and your neck. Inhale as you come back towards your starting position, and exhale as you open up your thoracic spine again. Notice if one side is more mobile than the other, and notice that with every breath and exhalation that you're getting a little more range of motion. Again, remember that we're trying to keep this in our upper back, and so make sure that your knees aren't shifting as you do this. Now we'll come back to our hands and knees, and we're going to perform some scapular pumps. Let your spine descend between your shoulder blades and then come as high up as possible. As they descend, your shoulder blades come back as if they want to kiss behind your back. And then as your spine rises towards the ceiling, you're pushing your hands into the ground, trying to get your scapula as protracted as possible. We'll now go into child's pose. If you can't comfortably bring your hips to your heels, place the pillow on your heels, decreasing the angle that your hip has to go down to. Lie it with your hands in front, resting your forehead on the ground, and perform 2 deep breath cycles in this position. Now, slowly, you'll be walking your hands to one side and performing 3 deep breaths in this position. As you inhale, think an image, try to project all the air into your ribs, expanding the side that is being stretched. At the end of this exhalation, walk your hands back to the midline so that they are right in front of your torso. We'll perform 1 deep breath inhalation here, and on exhale, then we'll walk over to the other side to perform another 3 deep breaths. Remember, the objective here is to relax the low back and to expand into the side ribs of the side being stretched. Come up onto your knees. If you need to, you can keep the pillow underneath your hips, and we're going to do some shoulder rolls backwards. Now move forward with your shoulder roll, making sure that our shoulder blades are fully relaxed and increasing its range of motion. We're going to perform some chin tucks. Bringing your chin back as much as you can at the same time as raising your skull up towards the ceiling, keeping our back nice and straight. This is a great exercise to engage our core and especially fire the posterior muscles of our spine. With that final chin tuck, keeping that chin tuck position, perform some rotations looking right to left. Notice the sensations in your cervical spine, and if you hear any crepitus as it releases, rotating right to left. Complete another chin tuck, and now extend your head, your neck as far as you can, and perform small rotations right to left. Again, notice the sensation in your cervical spine and see how it feels. Return your neck to a neutral position and perform some rotations. As you exhale, rotate your head as far as you can to the other shoulder. Inhale and exhale as you rotate as far as you can in the other direction. We'll now layer a little more stability work after this. Release. Lay down on your back, and we're going to do some dead bugs. First, start by having your hands above your head and have your knees, ankles, and hips at 90-degree angles. With control, slowly lower your heel towards the ground while maintaining the 90-degree angle at the knee and ankle. If you can, press against the wall to engage your lats and further activate more of your core as you slowly descend one heel down to the ground with control and then slowly return it up. Place your arms down by your side and move your hips close and hip a little further than the hip width apart to perform glute bridges. We'll be doing 5 of these. Remember to pelvically tilt your pelvis backwards, posteriorly, and then press into the ground through your heels, squeezing your glutes at the top for a count of 2 seconds. And slowly come down with control. Finally, come up. Have your feet hip width apart and further in front of you. Support your back by holding onto your knees. We're going to do some rotation, some flexion, extension in our low back, pulling through our pelvis, engaging our pelvic floor and our hip flexors. This should feel good, and you should feel your feet gripping the ground, helping with that action. I hope this movement practice helped you. Thank you for following.